Okay, so a burning question I get often is how much difference is there in price from a regular basement to a walkout basement? You're going to be surprised by this answer because it's very interesting. So I'm going by the typical family home here again. I'm just going to use the two-story homes and only 1,700 to 2,000 square feet and only built from 1990 to 2021. I don't want to add the new stuff in because it skews it because it's so odd and different. It might be much higher and just fewer results. We'll look at pre-owned homes, and I don't want to go so old that the renovations create a lot of disparity between price. So we're going with that particular style, and we want the typical um, double attached garage. That's what all these will be because we want one of the highest most sold properties in our for a statistic. Otherwise, if we get lots of different styles of properties, it might change our statistic. And we really want to get as very close to what the real number could be for this maybe a typical home. We could look at other ones, but if we get too much disparity in different types of properties, we're not going to get good numbers. So when we look at the last 180 days in a regular finished basement, the price was 596 and it sold 100. And this is I went back the last 180 days here in September 21st, and 25 days to sell at 596. And of course, the market's been pretty good, so they sold 100% of asking price. So they tended to sell for more than asking price. So there was 246 sales in that time. So it's a pretty good statistic. It's a pretty high number. Okay. Now, if we look at a finished basement for a walkout, we're getting $57,000. So $58,000 difference in price. Looks like it's solid even on the median price here. We're looking at $50,000 difference, 55,000. So it's pretty consistent that way, and it sold in 20. They sold in 25 days. So that gives you an idea that for the walkout basement at least, that's quite a substantial difference in price for that particular group, and this is in 2022, so it gives you an idea what's going on. But that was only 68. So for buyers who are looking for a walkout basement, I always want you to remember one thing is that because there's always this idea that they'll find the right house. And I always tell people, look, there may not be enough of the type of property you're looking for to find that right house. And this is 68 homes that sold within the 3-month period out of 246. So let's add them together. That gives you your total number. That is not a lot when you think about it. That really represents what is that? 1/6 of the properties. So there's not a lot of homes in that group. Now let's look at unfinished basement. That's another thing I wanted to look at. So if we look at unfinished basements, we had 195. Most people finish their basements, so the statistic is bigger for that, and they sold for 598. Almost, it's funny, almost the same price. It's interesting that our market is such that that's a possibility. And let's go to unfinished walkout basement. Now, very few people with walkouts don't finish their basements, only 13. And that sold for 592. And the median price was 600. And really what this tells me is that it's very compelling. This is very compelling. There's actually profit in a walkout basement in actually buying one that's unfinished and finishing it. Because obviously there's almost $60,000 difference. Now, if you're going to get a contractor and spend a lot of money, you might spend 60, but most big people are spending about 45,000 to finish a basement, depending on the size, of course. But really, the problem is the bathroom. The bathroom is about anywhere from if you get somebody to do it, about $8,000, and then you put a bedroom in. So that the bathroom is one of the most expensive parts of the process. Of course, we don't know which ones of these had bathrooms, but most do. Most have a single bedroom and a bathroom. So there's good profit in finishing buying an unfinished one and having it finished. You'll make money on it. For our statistic, and when it comes to walkouts, I didn't find enough. And so what I wanted to do is see if it changed very much to go to 365 days. Now that puts us outside of our property values now because it went up about $100,000. But I'll just add this in and see if it's consistent, because we only had 13. So I get 22 unfinished walkouts if I go back a year. That's still not very many. And they sold, we're still seeing 102, 101 over asking, and it was 588 was the average. Now, that's not our current average because, of course, the numbers are very skewed to being lower because, of course, these properties were all priced about 100,000 lower last year. So it doesn't indicate, it does indicate that the property prices are up substantially. But not much of a change in our statistic. It didn't change it by adding more numbers. If you're ready to search for homes right now, just click on the link in the description below. Or if you would like to know more about home prices in a particular segment, maybe you're interested in apartments or townhomes, or whether or not a finished basement is worth more than an unfinished basement and how much, the difference between the prices of walkout basements. I'm doing all kinds of videos on an ongoing basis. And if you've got a specific need, you can always shoot me an email or send me a message to the website, give me a phone call. I'd be happy to do a video on your particular home. If you're a seller or you're a buyer that wants to know the value of a property, I can certainly analyze it right here and give you a video report online. Thanks so much and have a great day.